Hey there, I'm going to put together two short little help videos on this banner assignment. The first one, all I'm going to do is go over some of the layers, show you some things that are happening on the layers with the sample file that you are supposed to use to duplicate. As you can see, I have it open here. And in the layers palette, you'll notice I have all of the layers showing. All I want to do in this video is highlight some of those layers, show you how those layers are set up, describe that for you. Then hopefully you have some information that you can use to duplicate. Basically, what I'm trying to say is the sample file is given to you to deconstruct, to take apart. So all I'm going to do is show you how to do that in this video. You can do it yourself and figure out what's going on each layer. You'll notice in my layers palette over here on the right that there are a text layer for David Carson. You should know how to work with that. There is a bottom bar and there is a top bar. You'll notice that they have these little four corners icon here, which indicates that it's a shape. So all you would need to do is to create those, go to the rectangle tool and create that shape. Those are pretty simple layers. What is a little bit more difficult are some of the layers down here, especially with the layer mask. So I'm going to turn the eyeball off on all of these layers. I'm going to show you just the background layer. So when you bring that background layer in, I want you to notice some of the key pixels. Notice the pixels here where there's this fold. You want to use this as a point of reference so you can transform your background to fit in the same area. Next, you'll notice on top of that layer is this scroll overlay. Now you can turn the eyeball on and off and see exactly what's doing on any given layer. You'll notice this layer has the pixel layer, which was transformed and rotated. Then it has a layer mask. Notice on the layer mask that there is some dark pixels, some black pixels, and some gray pixels. That was made by painting on the layer mask. This is an important feature of this assignment. There are two layers, this scroll overlay layer and the David Carson layer, where you'll notice that there is a layer mask that has some black pixels painted on it. All you need to do is to go and target that layer mask. Notice the white corners. Target that layer mask. Grab a paintbrush. Make sure the paintbrush is black. And make sure the paintbrush is soft and large. So I'm going something like this. Now, when I paint with black, I'm painting on the layer mask. Black will hide the pixels. Notice I'm hiding them. I'm going to undo that for a second because since I'm using 100% black, I'm going to hide all the pixels when I paint. But you'll notice that I'm allowing some of the pixels to show through. See up here, for example? I accomplished that by using a paintbrush where the opacity is not completely 100%. I dialed down the opacity. If I dial down the opacity, say to 20%, now when I paint, I'm only painting 20% black, which is only hiding 20% of the pixels. If I paint over the same area again, I paint and get 20% more of the pixels hidden. If I keep painting, the more I paint, the more the pixels get hidden. This allows me the ability to gradually hide pixels, which is what I wanted to accomplish here. I'm going to undo that. So to get this layer working like it is, like it's shown in the example, all you need to do is have a large black paintbrush and dial down the opacity. That's going to be the same for this layer right here, where you see some of the edges right here have been softened. And by the way, just a little key command for you. If I hold down the Shift key and click on any layer mask, you'll notice it puts an X, a red X, on that layer mask. That temporarily disables the layer mask. It's now not having an effect on the pixel layer. To get it back, I just click on it again, and now that layer mask is activated. Sometimes when deconstructing this file, it's helpful to click, holding the Shift key down, on the layer mask to show what is happening, what the layer mask is doing. So that's another little key command to help you deconstruct this file. A couple of other things I want to point out to you, for example, on the color bar. Notice it's small. You are going to bring that file in and it's going to be very big. I'll show you on the next video how to resize it effectively, but just realize your challenge with this is to transform it by making it smaller and rotating it. Also notice on any of these layers, it's important for you to take a look up at the blending mode and the opacity. For you to duplicate this assignment correctly, whenever you click on a layer to see what's going on that layer, I'm going to try to find one here where the blending mode is different. Here's grunge veins. Let's see about that. There we go. That's a good one. You'll notice as I look up on the options here in the top of the layers palette, you'll notice that the blending mode is normal and the opacity is 50%. So to get this effect you see here, you're going to want to make sure that you check in the sample file the opacity of every layer and the blending mode of every layer. It's pretty easy to do. I can just turn them all on and go down each one, and I'm noticing that nothing is happening, nothing is changing on the blending mode or the opacity. Oh, look, graphic text. The blending mode was changed to multiply. I need to remember that. Here, nothing's changed, nothing's changed, nothing's changed, etc. Here, the opacity is changed to 50%. Nothing. Oh, I'm sorry, there is something. The blending mode is changed to overlay. And then the background, nothing's changed. So make sure you do that. Make sure you look and dial in the exact same blending mode and opacity settings for each layer. The rest of this should be fairly simple to you. You should see here's a adjustment layer called exposure. You should know how to get to and add adjustment layers. Here you see layer effects called color overlay. If you want to see exactly the specifications of the effects, just double click on that and you'll notice that the color overlay is a dark red and the opacity is dialed up to 100%. So all you want to do is match that as closely as possible. You can see down here there is another color overlay. When I double click on that, you'll notice that the color overlay is set to white. So that's pretty much the main elements of this assignment that typically cause students some problems. Again, there are other videos about adding type. There are other videos about adding layer effects. There are other videos about creating smart objects. There are other videos about creating adjustment layers. If you want to see what the specifications are for the adjustment layer, this exposure, you just double click right here. It opens up the properties palette and you can type in those numbers exactly as you see them here for your assignment. Okay, so hopefully that helps you. There is another video to follow where I am going to show you how to reposition some of these things, but basically this should be enough for you to do the assignment.